Ready to go. Here we are. Hi, we are Suzanne Lynn and Dr. Chuck Reinertson from Lifetime Dental and Your Filthy Mouth. And we do these Facebook Lives every week. And we're so glad that you're joining us because, boy, does Dr. Chuck have a message that he wants to share with the world. And that is...
Your mouth affects the rest of your body. You can't ignore it. It's so many people have medical issues and the doctors are looking for the source. And many times the source is literally right under our nose. Not all the time, but a lot of times.
You know, we were just talking about your TEDx talk, and we've got that actually up on your website now, yourfilthymouth.com. And you just hit it out of the park. It was just tremendous, and it's just gotten such great reaction. And what kind of stories are you hearing about that?
It was interesting. There was a nurse at the hospital, and they've got a patient who's septic, got bacteria going all through him. They're trying to figure out what's the source of this bacteria going through them. And he's got a burn on the back of his neck and a couple of broken teeth, but they don't bother him. And so they're not even considering the mouth. And the nurse happened to see the TEDx talk. And she's trying her best to get the physician to take a look at that and say, hey, at least let's consider the mouth. So I don't know how far it's gone, but if we can at least include the mouth as being a part of the body. There are other things going on, but we have to include the mouth when we're looking at our health. So our goal in this office anyway is it goes health, then function, then aesthetics. So you've got to start with that healthy mouth. And if you don't have a healthy mouth, everything goes south.
You know what's kind of scary that you said is that guy has no pain. There's no pain.
90% of dental infections have zero pain. So just because it doesn't hurt, like high blood pressure, diabetes, glaucoma, cancer, there's no pain, but they're not okay for us. And just because your mouth doesn't hurt, oh my gosh, I could show you photos of patients we looked in their mouth, teeth bombed out to the gum line, decay everywhere, and no pain.
That's unreal. Listen, one of the ways that we try to get the word out about what's happening in your mouth and how it's affecting the rest of your body is by having Dr. Chuck every week on WQBQ. It's a local station here in Lake County, Florida. And Monday he's going to be talking about how you could be snoring yourself to death. And can you kind of give a little tease as to what they can expect in that talk?
Well, snoring it can be annoying, that's for sure.
Especially if you're the one that's been kept awake.
When you're snoring, number one, you're probably not getting a really good night's rest because you're not breathing properly. But second, if you've got a bed partner, they're not getting a good night's rest either. So you're affecting two people. I've had married couples that are in separate rooms simply because of the snoring. They love to sleep together, but it's too noisy.
Sure.
It's too noisy.
That's right.
So, but if you're snoring, that is a red flag. That doesn't mean you have some type of sleep apnea. But it's worth you getting checked out, especially if there's kids. Kids are the ones who are not supposed to snore. They're not supposed to breathe through their mouth when they're sleeping. So if you got any kids, because they've shown that half of the kids that are diagnosed with ADHD have sleep issues. They're not getting half of them. So a lot of times physicians are giving medications when really we should be cleaning out the sinuses, widening the palate, removing huge tonsils, whatever it takes for them to breathe well. But if you can't breathe well, you know how you are if you don't get a good night's rest.
Oh my gosh.
Well, imagine doing that night after night after night. You're not going to be behaving in the best way. And that's the same with these kids. So there are those kids that they do have ADHD, but there are a lot of them that once they're able to breathe right, oh my gosh, life changes for everybody.
And you've seen that. You were talking to me one time about that kid that really made a big difference in school with his grades, and he was behaving really well at home. And I mean, sleep is everything, right?
Yeah. I mean, just each one of us, if we don't get a good night's sleep, one day is bad, 2 days is worse, 3 days, imagine doing this for weeks and then months. So snoring kids is not a good thing. So get them checked out. May see an allergist, may see whoever you need to see. Talk to the pediatrician. Regrettably, a lot of physicians are not cued into any type of sleep disorder, breathing when it comes to the kids. A lot of times you're just quick to hand them a medication because that's what, just give me a pill, we'll make it better. Well, maybe it's something other than a medication that's needed. Maybe you need to just clean out the airway to where they can breathe better.
Wow. So we give you a lot more Dr. Chuck on Mondays between 12 and 1, WQBQ 1410 AM here in Lake County. And it's funny because the question of the week came from Larry, and he was saying that his wife said that sometimes he stops breathing at night she says it's not for long periods of time, but it's a couple times an hour, which sounds horrifying to me. That sounds like a lot.
One of the questions we ask our patients is, does your spouse ever stop breathing during the night? And usually it's no, they're fine, or they may snore. But once in a while I get, yeah, I gotta nudge them to get them to
Oh my
breathe.
gosh.
Oh yeah. And so this is not okay.
Right.
I had a buddy of mine back in 1987 not wake up. And he was sleeping late, so his wife sent the kids and go wake up daddy. And daddy was gone.
Mhm.
And so the kids went in and daddy was already had passed. So that's the ultimate. The other is it affects your life and you're not getting a good night's rest. It used to be the only solution people had was the CPAP. And statistically, about 80% of the people that are recommended to wear a CPAP either won't wear it or won't wear it the full night, or they certainly complain
It's so
about it.
cumbersome.
Well, for
Yeah.
those people who are wearing it, it's life-saving.
Okay.
So there's if you can wear it, that's the number one thing you can do. But if you're not wearing it, it's not doing you any good.
Okay.
So at least just be aware of the options that you have. They're called mandibular advancement devices. They bring the lower jaw forward, they open up the airway. And for many people, you don't need the CPAP anymore, but you at least need to be aware that these things are available. And if you don't know, how are you going to even ask your sleep physician about it? So.
The first thing that this is old time thinking, but is that you have to go to a sleep study and you've got to be hooked up to all these wires and everything. But you've told me before that there's at-home studies. It's a lot simpler than it used to be.
It used to be that's the way you did it. You had to go in the sleep lab. They'd hook you up with wires, and for a lot of people, you get it's a lot of information about a less accurate night's sleep. And when you do it at home, you get less information, very valuable information,
Sure.
less information about a much more accurate night's rest. So when you do it at home, you wear it's just a little, like a wristwatch you put on, something on your finger, a belt that goes around your chest, and some things pillows by your nose. So you wear that for a couple nights, send it in, you have the certified sleep physicians analyze the data, and they can find out whether or not you have sleep apnea or not. Maybe you don't have it. We had one patient that they knew that she had sleep apnea. The husband did, because she snored so much. They did a sleep study. She didn't have sleep apnea. She just was snoring a lot. But that's not always the case. So it's nice to find out, do you have it or you don't? Because it affects your life. It can affect a lot of things in your life. So.
Well, and about how much oxygen you're taking in too, right?
Oh, well, what's nice about
important.
the even on the home sleep study, they can see what's your heart rate,
Okay.
Fast, slow, what's your oxygen level, what's happening. So when you see your heart is racing and your oxygen level is lower, there's something going on.
Yeah.
So let's find out. And a lot of times it's just an obstruction. When you lay on your back, the tongue falls back, blocks off the airway. There could be like other things like huge tonsils or something else, but you need to figure out what it is. It's your health.
This is the week, it's National Dental Assistant Week.
Yeah.
And we wanted to just kind of honor your dental assistants here, because you are such an amazing team. You constantly talk about you couldn't do this without your team. If someone's watching, maybe their kids are thinking about going in a dental assistant program or something, what would you say to them, and how do they support you?
Well, it's very rewarding. The thing I like about dentistry is that you have all kinds of variation throughout your entire day. You're not doing the same thing over and over and over again. You've got a filling on one person, you have a crown on the next one, maybe you have a root canal going on, maybe you've got some dentures or some partials. So there's all these different things, and the dentist can't do it by themselves anymore. You need an assistant, and the assistant has to be trained and understand just how you do these different procedures. So for a dentist to do quality dentistry without an assistant is very challenging. So, but you need to train the assistants, and we got some great ones. So I'm tickled with who we have here.
And in my ignorance, I didn't know the difference between a dental hygienist and a dental assistant. Can you talk about that?
Well, the dental hygienist is the one who cleans your teeth. They do the regular hygiene visit. They do the deeper cleanings. Okay. They can legally numb you up. So if you're feeling it, get them numbed up.
Okay.
And you can do it comfortably too, by the way. It doesn't have to hurt.
Right.
And patient education. One of the rules that I have in this office is that if you can legally do it as part of your job description, if you legally cannot do it, it is not part of your job description. One of the things everyone in the office, from the assistants to the hygienist to the front desk assistants we have, we can all talk to the patient. So education is something that we try and do, because it's amazing how we can make a lifestyle change once we understand the why.
Sure.
So it's so easy for me to say, well, just do this and do this and do this. Well, when you understand the why, it's like, oh, the light bulb goes up.
Making sense.
Yeah. So I've got great assistants, great hygienists, great front desk staff, so business staff. So it's nice to have a good team.
Yeah. So happy National Dental Assistant Week.
National Dental Assistant Week, yeah.
And one of the ways when you talk about education is that if you're watching this, you are informed of how the mouth is affecting the rest of your body, the bacteria in your mouth. We really want you to share with your network and your family this stuff, right?
Absolutely. You know, it's not just about us as an individual. We'd like you to become, I call them, dental missionaries. Once you get it, share it with your family and friends, no matter where they live. I mean, like I said in the TED Talks, dental health affects the medical health of everybody. So we really need to make sure we have a healthy mouth so that we can help avoid some of these horrible diseases that you don't have to have.
Yeah, you don't have to take pills necessarily. Circling back to the very beginning of our show, 360, if you're having some issues, if you have high blood pressure or things that are going on, ask your doctor, ask your physician if it possibly could be related to your mouth, right?
Well, one thing, just ask your physician, does my dental health have anything to do with my medical health? And see what their answer is. Some physicians are right on top and say, absolutely, you've got to have that. Others are like, well, I don't know, they weren't trained that. So maybe we as patients can help at least spur a little thought in our physicians, say, you know, maybe I need to look at the mouth and see if that could be helping. But their hands are full. Medicine has changed over the last 20, 30 years, and so many times you're looking at the computer rather than the patient, and we need to get back to the patient once in a while and make sure that we're actually communicating and educating the patient to where they can be as healthy as they can. Sometimes with medication, and sometimes with just a lifestyle change.
Okay, so we're going to ask you, if you know of someone, maybe it's a spouse, maybe it's just someone at the office that you've overheard their spouse talk about that snores, would you consider sharing this video, tagging someone in it, let them see how serious snoring can be? And that's why we titled this, Are You Snoring Yourself to Death?
Snoring is a red flag, but it's a big red flag. So if you've got someone that's doing it, find out why. You know, sometimes you can just change position of them and the snoring stops. That's a simple solution. Other times you may need a mandibular advancement device or maybe a CPAP or whatever it takes. But getting a good night's sleep is really good for everybody.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Chuck. I always love this. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us. Visit yourfilthymouth.com. Find out, if you like white papers and facts and figures and everything, Dr. Chuck is not making this stuff up. You can go and see all the references there.
We tried to make it with the easy button to where you can go to one spot and how does my oral situation affect my heart? How does it affect sleeping? How does it affect any other area of
pregnancy,
rheumatoid arthritis, Alzheimer's disease, high blood pressure? I mean, there's all these links. And so again, I'm not the researcher. I'm a regular dentist. But if you go there, you can go right to the research and find out that we're not making this stuff up. It's real.
Yourfilthymouth.com and Lifetime Dental here in Tavares. If you want to see Dr. Chuck, you want to see him, you want to touch him in person, he's real. Yeah. All right, we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Thanks.